Hi, sir. Coach Joe Lucas. Welcome to your Practice Power daily coaching video for Tuesday, March 25th. Let's talk a little bit about slots, whether they're appointment or review slots or client slots. In a well-functioning practice, you need to know how many of each do you really have. So for example, in terms of clients, how many clients is your capacity? Yourself and your team before you have to go bring in junior partners and sub-advisors and in some of the ways we like to do things today, these kind of relationship pods. But for you yourself, how many clients can you effectively and proactively work with? You need to have that number. Our industry a lot of times thinks in terms of assets under management or premium written, and the reality is that both those never really cause us much concern, much issue. It's the human beings that are associated to these things that really cause us, the stress, that take up the time. The old saying, if it wasn't, the money, running the money is easy, it's the people that are the problem. It's usually very true in our industry. So that's the first thing you need to do is how many client slots do I really have? Now, I will say, without knowing a lot about your personal business and kind of where you are, I find a typical financial advisor with a typical full/part-time staff can probably run plus or minus around 150 client relationships proactively. Now, on the appointment slide, here's a very interesting question. How many meeting slots do you have? So for 2014, how many slots do you have? Take into consideration vacation, strategic time, so on and so forth. How many slots do you have this year? A lot of advisors don't know that. Then how do you know what your capacity truly is? It becomes a hodgepodge of reactivity, and you're not clear on truly what you can work with. Now, I don't have an answer for you what's typical. How much time you want off, the size of your practice, but I will say this, that as an industry, we tend to over-review people as a way to justify our fees. And typically what I find is that 2 reviews a year and touch base calls monthly is pretty much what I would consider to be standard these days. Now, for some clients you may have to do quarterlies, for some it's annual, but typically you think 10 and 2. 10 touch base calls, 2 face to face, and that should serve most of our client base. So work backwards and figure out how many slots you have. With that being said, I want you to have a great day, today being Tuesday, and I will see you tomorrow for another topic.